When fall turns into winter and the veil starts to lift, on a dark cold night you may see creeping out of the shadows a two-horned figure, roaming the streets with a chain and a switch. This demon goes by the name of Krampus. He's not interested in bringing you gifts, no, no, but rather the St. Nicholas counterpart who dishes out punishment and even sometimes kidnapping the children who are naughty. Go ahead and grab your brew with me today and join me as I deep dive into the mystery of Krampus. Krampus is deep rooted in history, even going back to the Celtic days. To me, he's the perfect intersection between pagan and Christianity. The best way I can describe him is the Celtic god Odin. And the reason why is because Odin has a very bipolar type personality to where he could be a mixture of Santa Claus and Krampus, is one basically. He was known as the god of wisdom, war, and death, always wearing a hooded disguise, walking through the earth as human. He tried to walk, well, he did successfully, by myths, walk with humans. Now, however, on the night starting during the month of Yule, let me put in that sidebar. I attempted to go to a Yule market to do some research, and it was not as authentic as I wanted it to be, but it was a good time. So let me go ahead and give you a brief clipping of some of the trinkets we saw there because it was pretty fun. Now, this is not a paid promotion, and I don't know if they are a chain, but go ahead and follow them on Instagram. This coffee right here, I've been thinking about it ever since. It's called a Bloody Small, which is pretty much what it describes without the blood. It's strawberry syrup and small, and it was absolutely delicious. But go ahead and follow them if you live in the area or see if they're a chain. I don't know. Like I said, it's not a paid promotion, but I did want to not gatekeep and say how delicious this caffeine was. Their decor was rather fun. I see there was skulls up there. I don't have all of the names. Hopefully by the time I finish editing I can find them. I did go on the vendor list, but a lot of the vendors did not have private pages that I could find. If you were one of these vendors, please go ahead and message me so I can tag you for other viewers. They did have some very interesting art. As you see here, we have body parts and jars because that's just what I'm missing. I just don't have enough jars full of body parts and specimens. And they did have some really cool photographs right here. And I mean, of course, they're pretty creepy, but I thought they were pretty cool. Now, this lady had a lot of beautiful things, but it was very crowded in there, so I wasn't able to get the good pictures that I wanted. I believe it's owned by a lady. I know there was a lady at the stand, but very unique and very pretty artwork. But like I said, it wasn't as authentic as I was hoping for, but it was a pop-up shop in the city, and it did have a lot of local vendors, and it was rather fun. It was just extremely overcrowded. So shoulder to shoulder with myself and my friend and two toddlers in strollers. It's kind of hard to navigate. And I also have really bad social anxiety, but I was proud of myself because the crowd made it easier. Like everybody was so super nice and so super sweet. It's kind of like, certain people get a bad rep. Like, for instance, I know I'm going off topic, but bikers get a bad rep, right? Because they're like, oh, they're rough. Okay. My stepdad had me around bikers because we would go to a rock festival called Ripley, I believe it's called, in England. Nicest people you'll ever meet. Now, don't cross them because everybody will jump you, but just don't cross them. They are some of the sweetest people. Same as like, I just feel like a lot of people are misunderstood, and that's why I'm kind of on this journey of researching different faiths, different people's beliefs, and gain a better understanding of people. I am very strong in my faith, in my relationship with Yahweh, to where I feel like I can learn other people's perspectives and I can talk to other people about their religions. Because to me, everything intertwines at some point, which is very much the point of this video, because we see throughout years our very fabulous traditions that we love. Now, Christmas is my favorite holiday ever. It's my favorite holiday where a lot of things close down and you just like togetherness, love, and fun, and because nobody really knows when Jesus' birthday was. But we'll learn more about that between this episode and my next episode. So let's go ahead and continue to talk about Odin. Not this Odin, get your mind out the gutters. This Odin. Now, Odin would ride a 8-legged horse by the name of Sleipnir. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly, Sleipnir. It's fun to say. And the horse's name it means to glide or slide. He was known to be one of the most fastest horses. Of course, with 8 legs, I would expect you to be a little bit faster than a four-legged horse. You got 8 legs. I need to see some speed. But he was known for gliding and sliding. But like I was saying prior, Odin was a mixture to me of Krampus and Santa. He was known as a wanderer, but during the Yule season would begin his midnight journey, mounted on his horse. Sounds an awful lot like Santa and Rudolph, right? He would ride across the winter night sky, leading figures known as the Wild Hunt, sweeping through villages, bringing bad fortune and doom.
And calamity are as spectacular or as chilling as the Wild Hunt. Hailing from northern and central Europe, and referred to by a host of regional names, the Wild Hunt was a vast gathering of spectral figures on horseback, some say numbering in the dozens, or even up to the thousands, galloping hard across the moors, through the forests, and even through the clouds in the sky, accompanied by baying hounds as they pursue their quarry. The identities of the hunters vary from story to story, depending upon the region telling, and partly out of fear of taking too close of a look at such an eerie omen. They may be the Valkyries or the Einherjar from Norse mythology, the Fey folk and denizens of the otherworld from Celtic mythology, or they may be the spirits of the dead. The dogs may be black as pitch, or whiter than snow with red ears, like the hounds of Annwn. And the horses may have fiery eyes or multiple legs, not unlike Odin's steed Sleipnir. More outrageous stories of the hunt go as far as to include demons, werewolves, and even dragons among their ranks. Additionally, the identity of the Wild Hunt's leader varies greatly, though is often a figure of great strength and martial prowess in mythology. In Scandinavia, the hunt is often led by Odin, the one-eyed king of Asgard, whereas his Germanic iteration, Woden, leads the charge in respective territories. One German tale says that the hunt is led by the ghost of Count Hackelberg, or Count Ebbenberg, whose crimes during life condemned him to an afterlife eternally hunting in the netherworld. In the British Isles, the hunt may be led by Gwyn ap Nudd, a king of Annwn, the otherworld of Welsh mythology, or by Ern the Hunter, the ghost of Berkshire County, or even by King Arthur under a curse. Other supposed leaders of the hunt have included the Norse hero Sigurd, the Welsh hero Gwydion, Nuada of the Tuatha De Danann, the Germanic figure King Erla, the biblical figure Cain, or even the Christian devil. The purpose of the wild hunt may also vary from tale to tale. For divine justice, for glory, to act as a warning, to declare a grand change, or just simply to exist. Yet many say that their quarry is the souls of the damned, or evil beings, sniffing them out with their hounds, and running them down with their horses. The wild hunt is more often heard rather than seen, the hooves of the phantom horses sounding as rolling thunder, the baying of the spectral hounds akin to the sound of the wind. Mortal dogs may howl to the sky as the horde gallops by, and sudden chills may creep up the spine as the hunters pass overhead. To hear or to feel the wild hunt's arrival in passing, and especially to catch a glimpse of it, is said to be among the worst omens of misfortune. It could mean plague, famine, drought, conflict, war, or even the death of the one who glimpsed the wild hunt, or someone very close to them. What's more, mortals who were unlucky enough to see the procession of ghostly hunters were at risk of being swept away and carried off by the wild hunt. Some say to the other world, some to the afterlife, while others say that those who fall prey to the hunters will be doomed to become one of them for all eternity. Tales exist of individuals having the courage, or lack of common sense, to stand up to the ghostly charge. Sometimes the individual is taken without a fight, or outright killed on the spot, or even driven mad for the rest of his days. Whereas other stories have the hunters reward him for his bravery with a sack of gold, or curse him in a way that may only be absolved by a priest or a wise one.
As Odin would watch over humanity, children would often leave out carrot, straw, and even slop for Odin's trusted horse. A lot like we leave stuff for the reindeers. Oh no. Food for thought. But the children would do this in hopes to earn Odin? I should probably get his name right. Odin's favor and protection in return. Odin would leave the children small gifts and blessings. And this echoes a tradition throughout history to our current modern day Santa. Now, I do have an episode on Santa. It was my previous episode, so if you haven't seen that, when you get done with this, pop on over to this episode. But this dual role of rewarding the good and punishing the wicked reminds me a lot of Santa Claus and Krampus. So you can't do an episode on Christmas of Santa Claus and not Krampus. So here we are. So as Christianity was on the rise, now keep in mind, Christians were slaughtered, Christians were murdered, Christians had to celebrate their faith in silence and private underground religion during this time. Well, a little bit prior to this time. It was on the rise, and the elements of Odin and St. Nicholas just started to blend together. Odin shows that most of our beloved traditions often come from shadows of an ancient past. But let's go ahead and start talking about Odin's dark side, which is Krampus. Because Santa is not the only midnight home invader, we have become very acceptable of this home invader. Anyway, he's not our only home invader. We need to think about this because something more sinister is lurking in the shadows, Krampus being one of those things. This horned half goat, half deer from the Alpine folklore. Starting his trip in early December, dragging his chains while holding switches of birch branches, Krampus delivers a very different type of judgment for those who simply just don't know how to behave. Now, we've all heard the theory with Santa how he would leave coal in your stockings or under the tree if you were a naughty child. Now, when I was doing my research, this correlated a lot. Well, no, me, I was a fabulous child. No, I'm lying. I was actually quite a naughty child. Never disrespectful, but I was not the best behaved child. I was very untreated ADHD, very hyperactive. But anyway, I digress. So it was told that Santa would actually leave the coal so Krampus knew who to punish. He would swap the children with piles of sticks and take them away in sacks. So, as Santa is bringing gifts in a sack, he would be taking children away with the sack. Now, the myth is that he would either beat the children, some say he would actually eat the children, and others say that he would actually take them away back to the depths of hell. This tale is a dark, chilling reminder to children that even though Christmas is a time of celebration, it's also a time to reflect on your misbehavior, unless you want Krampus come crawling out of the shadows. In the pagan tradition, he was known to be a holder for old mountain spirits and demons pre-Christian. This was pre-Christian time. This was, I wouldn't say pre-Christian, I would say Christians were underground during this time. But the pagans would know as him to be basically a gatekeeper to keep their demons and bad spirits at bay. And when that veil would lift during wintertime, the supernatural would roam free, and Krampus being one of these people. Representing the darker side of nature, demanding respect around the darkest time of year. Now, as Christianity started to become more acceptable and was on the rise and no longer hiding underground, it was now spreading across nations. They first did attempt to do away with Krampus, which was an age old tradition. I understand people having faiths, but one should not erase another. I mean, regardless of how you believe, it's an age old tradition. So, what the Christians eventually did, because there was so much pushback, I mean, people had celebrated this for centuries, and now you're like, stop doing this because it's kind of demonic. No, I believe Krampus is very demonic, but who am I to judge other people's faiths? I can only tell you my heart. But eventually, the church did start to tolerate Krampus, allowing this absolutely terrifying demonic entity to be the counterpart to the grace, kindness, and mercy of good old Saint Nicholas. Now, his appearance was one of nightmares with an extremely long tongue, and I don't understand that part, but I guess I don't know. An extremely long tongue, and he is half goat, half horse, but can somehow stand on two legs, with his dark, sharp horns, long dark hair, and of course he's very demonic. Now, I don't get how he's parts of two animals. And I'm not being disrespectful to anybody that celebrates it. So if you do celebrate Krampus, please comment below. But why is it two animals that walk on four legs, but he walks on two legs? Huh. I don't know. Curious minds. The earliest findings I could find in regards to the origin was in Austria, Germany, starting on the 5th of December, known as Krampus Night. To this day, some parts of the world, and especially in Austria, Germany, there is a Krampus Run, which is an annual festival where people to this day dress up in this demonic costume. around Christmas time, like leading up to Christmas, they have the full on demonic mask and a full body suit, which is made out of, I believe, lamb, not lamb, sheep or ram. Everything I looked is like I had different descriptions, but a full body suit, often holding switches, whips, and chains. And ironically enough, they're led on these parades by a man who was representing Saint Nicholas or Santa Claus, but their Santa Claus looks a lot like Odin. Hmm. Again, not this Odin, that Odin. Get your mind out the gutters, guys. You're a bunch of perverts. But basically, as they continued this age old tradition, they would roam the streets at night. They would also do the parade, and honestly, I see them going, playing with children, everything. I would have been terrified. I don't care. Maybe, I don't know. I guess if you grew up with this, it's very much the norm, so you wouldn't really question it. But they also did a counteraction, I wouldn't say counteraction, a reversal Halloween. People would still be dressing up in these suits and they would knock on people's doors. But instead of asking for candy, they would be giving children candy. So before Christianity turned the month of December into a celebration, it was borderline, I wouldn't say like Halloween because, of course, they still celebrate All Hallows Eve, but it was very much known to be dark and full of monsters and ghouls, much like Halloween. And to me, and I'm again, please don't take any offense to this, but between therapy and my faith, I've learned to go into spaces that were kind of traumatic to me and create happy memories. So I don't know if that's what Christians were trying to do. Because even in the Christian faith, we all know about demons, right? But I guess they were not too happy about the celebration of a demon. I don't know. But this deity goes back for prior to Celtic, maybe. I don't know. The earliest I could find was Celtic. So, what do you guys think about Krampus, the Santa counterpart? Please go ahead and leave your comment below, guys. And thank you so much for grabbing a brew with me today. Please like and subscribe and join us next week for the history of the Christmas tree. And then it will lead up to our Christmas special where I will be working on a video that reflects Jesus' DNA and his current living relatives. But go ahead, guys, like and subscribe. I hope you have an amazing week. Thank you for tuning in.